How's it going, guys? I hope you guys had a great week. So it is Gaming News Friday, guys, and I am back today to talk about a gaming news topic of the week. Today is all Bioware and Anthem. So it's official. Anthem's days are officially numbered. So in an official blog on their site, Bioware's Christian Daily on the 24th of February announced that they would be stopping their new development work on Anthem. So for those of you who may not know, Anthem, obviously when it came out back in February 2019, was a massive flop. It was just really lackluster game, awful story. Some of the performance issues with the game as well was just really bad. The loot and the loot systems were broken. So Bioware basically announced that they were going to completely overhaul the game, and this was codenamed Anthem Next. Now we do know that Bioware had been working on overhauling many of the systems in the game, and they were working to try and breathe some life into it and try and really pull it back from the grave. Well, that's now dead from the sounds of it. So they've confirmed that they are going to be stopping their new development work on Anthem, although they have made sure to state that the game's servers would continue to be supported for the small numbers of the community that are still playing that game. But the numbers of people playing it are incredibly small. For all intents and purposes, that the game is effectively dead, or it very much will be soon. But the efforts of the studio, those people that are working on the game, those will now move to work on two other projects that Bioware's working on, most notably the next Dragon Age and of course the next Mass Effect as well. So let's actually go through the official blog post here, see what they have to say, what reasons they give for this decision. So this was posted on the Bioware website by Christian Daily, and it reads as follows. Friends, in the spirit of transparency and closure, we wanted to share that we've made the difficult decision to stop our new development work on Anthem, aka Anthem Next. We will, however, continue to keep the Anthem live service running as it exists today. Since Anthem's launch, the team has been working hard to continually improve the game, releasing multiple updates that brought with them a variety of improvements and introduced new content to play. Towards the end of 2019, we expanded on that effort and started working on a more fundamental restructure of the game. During the development, we've provided updates revealing some of the team's work through blog posts and conversations with you on social media, and it's been inspiring for us to see the positive reactions and feedback. I've been incredibly proud of the work the team has been doing and excited to see and play each new build of the experience. 2020 was a year unlike any other, however, and while we continue to make progress against all our game projects at Bioware, working from home during the pandemic has had an impact on our productivity, and not everything we had planned as a studio before COVID-19 can be accomplished without putting undue stress on our teams. I know this will be disappointing to the community of Anthem players who have been excited to see the improvements we've been working on. It's also disappointing for the team who were doing brilliant work, and for me personally, Anthem is what brought me to Bioware, and the last 2 years have been some of the most challenging and rewarding experiences of my career. Game development is hard. Decisions like these are not easy. Moving forward, we need to laser focus our efforts as a studio and strengthen the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect titles while continuing to provide quality updates to Star Wars: The Old Republic. To the Anthem community, thank you for your passion and creativity. Your feedback and suggestions most certainly helped shape the team's direction. And on a personal note, your kindness and encouragement were much needed last year. Please stay safe and be kind to each other. Start strong alone, stronger together. Christian. Now, we knew that the future of Anthem was kind of up in the air, and we did know that we were most likely to get some big Anthem news this month on the future of the series and obviously the future of Anthem Next. Jason Schreier released an article on the 8th of February on Bloomberg, which reported from 3 of his inside sources that EA were actually planning to hold a meeting that week to decide decide the future of Anthem and whether they would continue to support and fund the Bioware team working on this new version of the game, which of course, as we know, was codenamed Anthem Next, which, as we know, would have involved a complete overhaul of the game and its systems. They were basically going to decide on whether to expand the project or abandon the project based on what they were shown. Now, working on this huge project was a small team of only 30 people. According to inside sources, this number was just too small, and people familiar with the project said that this would need to expand to at least triple that number in order to produce new content and continue to overhaul the game. Well, it looks like the EA executives have made their decision, and the overhaul plans for Anthem Next have been officially cancelled and the project shut down and the team redistributed to work on other projects. Now, absolutely, COVID may well certainly have complicated matters for the development team. Absolutely, it would have been more challenging with working from home, trying to communicate and work on this project cohesively. That absolutely would have provided challenges, but I actually think that it was clear really from the beginning that EA never completely backed the project. And the reason I think this is because of just how few resources and manpower they were actually willing to put behind it. The fact that this was only a small team of 30, when we take into consideration the size and scope of Bioware now. Bioware is no longer this smaller indie studio. It is a massive studio that employs hundreds of game developers that are often working on projects simultaneously. So the fact that only 30 people were left to work on Anthem and were left to try and fix the mess and the buggy state that Anthem was in really reflects just how little focus that EA put on it and how little kind of respect that they gave to this team. The number was just too small. It was almost an impossible task for them to complete. They were almost set up for failure right from the start. And I feel really bad for the team of 30 people that have been working on the game for the last 12 months and were hoping that Anthem Next would be, say, the next No Man's Sky or the next Final Fantasy XIV success story. And I think it does give a very strict lesson to EA and to Bioware that you only really get one chance with a game to make an impression, and how that game releases and the state that that game releases in is incredibly important. Now, it does seem that EA may well be learning from their mistakes, and this was in an article that was released yesterday on the 25th of February by Jason Schreier on the Bloomberg website that kind of has me a little bit excited and makes me happy to hear it, at least. So we may have something good coming out of this. Now, as we know, Bioware have been hard at work developing the next Dragon Age game, which began back in 2015. Now, in the fall of 2017, EA and Bioware rebooted the game to push for the inclusion of an online multiplayer element, and the game would follow this games as a service model that EA were forcing on most, if not all, of their development studios, that every studio had to have some kind of games as a service element so that EA could take advantage of that to introduce long-term monetization strategies to make as much money out of those franchises as possible. Now, the decision to make the next Dragon Age game a games as a service was massively unpopular with fans. I actually think it's one of the major reasons for the departure of creative director Mike Laidlaw and a lot of the more seasoned development leads and developers within Bioware left because of these implemented policies. Well, it seems like EA might finally have let go of that bone, and according to Jason Schreier and many inside sources within Bioware, apparently some members of Bioware's leadership have actually been pushing for the next Dragon Age game to move back to a purely single player experience, and according to this report, it looks like that is the case. that the next Dragon Age, thankfully, will not have a games as a service structure or multiplayer, and he's actually going to get back to single player RPG, which we all know is what Bioware does best. It's their bread and butter. It's what built them a reputation as a really respected studio previously, and they have produced some great single player RPGs in their history. Now, obviously, the Bioware of today is not the same Bioware that made the original Mass Effect trilogy or Dragon Age Origins or Knights of the Old Republic. It's not the same team, but certainly it's the Bioware that we've always loved. And it seems like EA now are actually realizing that actually single player games sell, that they're actually really, really popular. Now, these lessons and this change in heart has been brought about by their realization that games as a service isn't always suited and doesn't always well. So if we look at some of the recent EA releases, one of the biggest success stories, of course, was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which actually massively exceeded EA's sales expectations, selling over 10 million units in the first 4 months and obviously receiving critical acclaim. If we then compare that to the multiplayer Anthem, which flopped and was widely panned and criticized and just was dead on arrival, and the development team have had to put a lot of money, a lot of funding into trying to fix the game. So clearly it seems that EA have realized this and are actually stepping back with Bioware, and it sounds like they're letting them focus on Dragon Age being a single player RPG experience. This is a great thing. I think how well Bioware do with the next Dragon Age game is going to be crucial, because obviously the last two releases that they had, that being Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, those received a lot of criticism. So a lot really does ride on the success of Dragon Age. And when we heard that the next Dragon Age was going to be a games as a service, just like warning bells were going off in the back of my head. So I'm really, really pleased to hear that they're moving away from that. It does also make me more excited for the next Mass Effect game that we're going to get as well, especially after the most recent teaser. But that's today's gaming news, guys. So Anthem Next is officially dead, which is kind of sad for those people that maybe do play Anthem and were hoping that Bioware were going to be able to pull some kind of success story or magic out of this, though how a team of 30 were going to accomplish that is beyond me. But maybe something good has come out of this, because now the next Dragon Age is going to be a purely single player experience. So I'm much more excited about the next project to come from Bioware, but we'll have to wait and see. And I've learned to err on the side of caution now when it comes to future Bioware titles, and wait and see what we actually get as opposed to what we're promised. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what your thoughts are on this news today. What are your thoughts on Anthem Next? Were you looking forward to Anthem Next? Were you hoping, that Bioware were going to fix it? Or had you left Anthem behind and didn't really care? And what are your thoughts on the next Dragon Age game now moving back to a single player RPG experience? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great week, of course. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.